Salam, shalom. When you're dealing with sacred geometry and the geometrical patterns, you have the one called the fruit of life. I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with sacred geometry. Are the geometrical patterns in it? So in sacred geometry, you have these geometrical patterns. The egg of life, the flower of life, Vesica Pisces, the fruit of life, and all the others. Now I want to explain what the fruit of life is and why they call it that. The fruit. Now, the fruit of life symbol represents the genetic makeup of the universal body. Simply put, it represents the DNA molecule of the universe. So we have DNA. Everything you can think of in the universe has DNA. This DNA is pretty much the same, maybe 1 to 10% different amongst all things. But for the most part, everything has the same DNA. Just like all the cells in your body have your DNA. Everything in the universe has the DNA of the universe. And so the fruit of life symbol, it represents a DNA molecule, of course, of the universe. Now, when you're dealing with DNA, each molecule or link in the DNA chain consists of 2 nucleotide strands held together by hydrogen bonds, or you can say smaller strands. When you're dealing with these smaller strands, you have guanine or guanine, cytosine or cystosine, adenine or adenine, and thymine or thymine. I'm not sure which way they pronounce it, but you have those. They're put into G, C, A, and T. I guess nobody know how to pronounce it. I guess even the scientists that came up with these names ain't sure how to pronounce it. So they put it into A, T, G, and C, basically the first letter. Now the G and the C connects and the A and the T connects. And this is how your 2 nucleotide strands are kind of bonded together. And that is called a double helix. So when you're dealing with the DNA molecule, or let's say the DNA chain, one of its links, it basically consists of 2 strands and then 4 strands in between it holding the 2 strands together. Or you can look at it as a strand on one side that has 4 nerves coming off it, and a strand on the other side that has 4 nerves or 4 strands coming off it. And they're merged by their strands merging. And you get my point? This is basically a DNA molecule. Now a DNA molecule consists of, meaning inside of this DNA molecule, that's just the structure of it and how it's bonded together. But what's inside this DNA molecule is basically phosphates, nitrogenous acids, and sugars. In layman's terms, salt, nitric acid, and sugar. Kind of like a lot of fruits that we know of, like watermelon, grapes. You follow? And so each DNA molecule or each link in the DNA chain is full of sugars, like a fruit. And this is why in sacred geometry that symbol is called the fruit of life, because it represents the DNA molecule of the universe. And of course, the DNA molecule consists of sugars. So it's the fruit of life. When you're dealing with the egg of life, of course, you guys should know what that is. When you're dealing with the flower of life, this is the egg at the morula stage of developing. So all those symbols have to do with the menses blood, the egg, of course, and conception in stages after. Now, here's the secret in DNA. DNA is a musical sheet. When I say a musical sheet, you're a mind. Your mind is your soul, let's say. Your mind being the thing that thinks. Your voice is a projection of that mind. Your voice being a sound. A unique sound, your own unique sound, but do you get my point? In that, your mind is a sound. Of course, your mind is silent. It's like the vibration that the sound is coming from, but it's the source of the sound. So the mind, or your soul, is your sound. Your voice is coming from your mind. In that, your mind, in perspective, is a sound. And this sound has parts that make it. Just like a musical sheet. I'm sorry, I may have said a writing sheet earlier, but a musical sheet, it has all the tones and notes that make up the whole song, the specific sound. DNA is that. It is to be read like a musical sheet, because it is the genetic makeup of a sound. This sound being a soul, a mind, but a sound nonetheless. And so, the universe is a mind or a voice. Of course, the mind is the voice before it's projected or born out. View your mind as the blueprint of how you will appear in sound. Your mind holding all that information, or your mind being the unseen aspect of what is seen. So you as a mind, look how you look physical. And you as a mind sound like you sound when you're in the physical. But seeing and hearing is a physical thing. In that, you as a soul or a mind. So you get my point? The DNA of this thing is like a musical sheet. How the thing is supposed to manifest out or blow out. And so it's a very deep thing. Salam.